Hey everybody, this is Heather and Jenny with Surviving Darkness.
And this is episode 30.
30!
Yes. Who would have thunk it?
Our sound guy's supposed to have celebration stuff going on in the background when we do that one.
He's celebrating his phone right now, so we're good.
Yeah.
So we were trying to think of like a topic for today, and as usual, before we even start recording, we have all these little conversations about what we think we want to talk about. And it was just different little random snippets. So I don't really know that we're going to have any specific topic today. We'll just discuss just different random things that we've just been thinking about. And one of the things that...
Listen, I'm always random.
Oh my goodness, that don't even matter. But anyway, one of the things that I was just thinking earlier is how when anything tragic seems to happen, we blame God. It's just an automatic blame God. And I was thinking about how messed up the world is right now, and how right is wrong, wrong is right, and how we've sort of turned away, how a lot of people have sort of turned away from God. And when you talk to people, a lot of the reason is, one, they've had something happen and they blame God, or two, because Christians have left a bad taste in their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we were talking, and I'm not any kind of professional on any of that stuff that I just pinned you. But anyway, I'm not a professional in any of this stuff, but we were talking about how we've had conversations with people who live in a, what's the word? Relationships. Like when they're gay. What?
Homosexual relations.
That's the word I was looking for. I was like, heterosexual is not the word, but my mind was a little blank there. In relationships, and we were talking about how we've talked to different people, and a lot of people who wind up in those relationships have been hurt in the past. They've either been abused or hurt by like Christian people.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you had talked to a relative's husband, and he was asking, well, you can tell the story.
So we have a cousin who is male and is married to a male, and we were just talking about things one day and just having conversation about the Bible and stuff like that. And anyway, and he asked what my feelings were about the fact that he's gay and everything. And I told him, I said, well, according to the Bible, I mean, it's against the Bible, you know. However, and this is how I put it, I said, when judgment comes, I'm not going to be there. It's going to be between you and God, not me and you and him, you know. So it's not for me to put any judgment on you. I'm supposed to love you, and I do love you. I don't care where you are in your life, you know. I do love you. Doesn't mean I have to agree with everything that you do, but I love you. And so, and a lot of times Christians, and you know, we can be really judgmental and harsh to people who aren't perfect, or so we think they should be, and we're far from perfect.
I'll be honest, at one point in my life, in my Christian walk, I don't know that I looked at somebody and said, you're going to burn in hell.
Mm-hmm.
But I was sort of, it's black and white. There's
Right.
no gray areas, and it's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But after going through things myself and realizing that maybe my reactions to people were coming from the trauma that I had gone through growing up,
Mm-hmm.
that I sort of unleashed some of that pain and some of that on other people, not realizing that's really what I was doing. But then going through other situations in life, I've sort of realized that, I am definitely far from perfect. And we're all in this race together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not our job to tear people down, but to love them where they are. And when we show that love, then we're showing God.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're judging people and trying to tear them down, that's not how God operates. That's how the enemy operates.
And I wouldn't want someone to ever look at me, because I'm not perfect. I do things wrong. I say things wrong, you know. I mean, I wouldn't want someone to look at me and just say, you know what, you're going to hell. No matter what, you're going, you know, unless you change your ways, you're going to hell. Well, you know what? I don't know what you're doing behind your doors.
Exactly.
At your house.
Right.
I have no idea.
Right. And
you know, and I mean, that person is more out in the in the open, you know, a lot of times, and that's why people say things to them or feel that they can, but
that's why I remind myself and I tell people, you know, we have to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to worry about what everybody else is doing, making mistakes, because I sin every day. I make mistakes every single day that I have to ask forgiveness for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yes.
And our stinking thinking isn't helping anybody.
Right. No. And if we're negative and just completely down people, God wasn't that way. Jesus wasn't that way when he walked this earth.
No, he was always around the people that everybody shunned.
Yes.
And looked down their nose on.
Mm-hmm.
He was around the sinners.
He is love, and, you know, wants everyone to be saved and to come to heaven. You know, that was what he wanted, and that's why he died for us.
And we got to keep in mind that Satan was cast out of heaven. Lucifer was cast out of heaven because he wanted to be above God, and he absolutely hates God's creation.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the one who's attacking people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not God. And a lot of times we want to blame God for every negative thing that happens in our life and use that as the excuse to not serve him or to be ugly to other people because, you know, I've gone through this and God let this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's a reason for everything. I know that at any second God could have snapped his fingers and stopped everything that was going on with us. But would we be here today helping people, talking about the things we've gone through to try to help people who have no clue how to get out of it or how to deal with it if we didn't go through it ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that a lot of times God allows people to go through it. I think that he sees us as strong people.
Right.
And allows those people to go through things to help other people that might be going through that same situation or a similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're equipped with that strength beforehand.
And he is the only one that can see the future and know where we're going to be, you know, 20, 30 years from that time.
Right.
To be where we are now, to be able to talk about this.
Right.
You know, and I never thought I'd be able to talk about it.
Right.
If you'd have told me that 2 years ago that we were going to be having a podcast and I'd be talking about everything I went through, I'd have been like, you're crazy, because it's not going to happen.
Right.
I just barely talk about what happened, and that's not nearly enough. And you're not going to get me talking about details.
Right.
It won't happen.
Right.
But you know what? God had a different plan.
Right.
And here we are. And so.
And it's his timing.
Mm-hmm. And I do feel like, you know, we've said sometimes it's like, man, why did God let it go on for so long? But like you said, there was a reason for that. Well, and if it was supposed to be different, it would have been different.
And you're right. He knows what's going to happen in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So if we hadn't gone through a lot of this trauma and stuff that we had gone through, would we have been able to deal with like our brother's suicide, with the traumatic things that have happened along the way? Or would we have been so soft mentally that we couldn't have been able to stand it?
Right.
So I think he does equip us. And without going through those things, we wouldn't have that mentality to be able to just get through everything.
And help other people, like you say, that have talked to us, even just in our family, people that we have talked to a lot all of our lives. And it seems like they've been able to start talking about more, remembering more and talking about things more than what they were before, so. And you and I were talking about earlier this week, there was people saying on Facebook about not wanting to go to this new restaurant because there's, I don't know if it's, anyway, possibly one of the owners or somebody that's tied to that restaurant that's been in trouble for things that he shouldn't have been doing,
Right.
And at first I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go to the restaurant at all either. Probably won't. And then it was like, well, what if he is like some of the other people and is actually sorry for what he did?
Looking at the comments, one girl, she was bashed pretty bad for trying to take up for the owner of the restaurant and her husband. But she is there all the time, and she said that this person is now a Christian man. And then other people were just so cruel. They're like, well, they don't change. They don't change. God can't even change someone like that. I beg to differ.
Right. That's exactly right. And that's what I said in our conversation. I was like, what if he served his time? You know what I mean? And he is like our cousin and has changed and realized that way was totally wrong.
Right. And there was so many other comments made that I was like, I'm not going to just not go there over something that someone did when they were 18 years old, for one. And they were like, well, he could tell that that person wasn't 18 or 16. She was obviously 12. No, not necessarily. Yeah. Not nowadays. Not how people dress. Not with the fact that, it's a fact that there's hormones in the food that cause girls to mature quicker.
Well, even when I was younger.
Right.
I didn't act any older than 12 years old. But I was in Charleston one summer, and there were, with our family, and there was several family members not family members, friends who were like guys, and, they could have been saying it or whatever. But anyway, several people did not think I was 12,
yeah.
So, yeah, I can definitely see how
age can be mistaken.
Yeah, it can. Yeah.
And if
you're lying, if you're being lied to also,
right.
Then.
And I look at the term that he got, it was like a year or 2 years. And from personal experience also, we have seen firsthand of people getting accused of something that they didn't do. And basically the judicial system making it to where they have to say they did it, or they're going away for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
So they make a plea deal at a very young age because of the threat and the fact that the person who made the accusation had connections.
And we're not trying to say that this was this girl's fault. We don't know the circumstances. Not by any means. We're not saying that at all.
But what we're saying is it's not always black and white.
Right.
There's always other sides to the story, and ruining someone's life, or just because she married this man. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like it's just ugly.
Right. And again, if he has changed and he's not doing the things that he shouldn't be doing, I'm not going to be there.
And it looks like she's,
when he goes with him before God. That's not going to.
And she's also tried to take precautions too. He does like the ordering and stuff that they need, but he never comes into the restaurant. So.
Yeah. So then why should she be ostracized or, boycotted against if they're trying to be aware of their situation and taking precautions
And
too.
if he is a changed man,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, we don't know the circumstances of any of it.
Right.
It was 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people are quick to jump on that bandwagon of, oh, yes, he's just evil. Nobody can change.
And knowing what we went through, like, this just came to my mind too. So this person paid their dues, as from what we're reading and everything, is trying to be a better person. But the people who did things to us never did. But they are still great people to other people,
Right. Right.
And so
yeah, it don't make sense.
Yeah, I kind of have mixed feelings on that one, because just because my dad didn't go to jail or anything like that, and he was so good to so many people, does not mean it never happened. Nothing like that happened.
Right. Well, and let's just be honest. Because of what we went through, our automatic was, oh yeah, I'm not going to that place.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm.
Without looking at any of the comments.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought was, yeah, I probably won't go there. But then something just made me think, look at what everybody else, just look at the comments.
Yeah.
Just look.
I didn't look at the comments. I just said to you, you know what? What if? That's so.
And maybe that's what got me looking too at the comments to see,
So what if they are changed?
If it was such a huge thing, which it is a bad thing. It is a huge thing.
Yes.
If it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But usually if something like that happens, they get more than 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Most of the time. Yeah.
So that's what caught my attention too. I was like, 1 year
mm-hmm.
for supposedly messing with someone between the age of 6 and 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I did see that several people had said she was 11. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I don't know that for a fact. You never know with what you're reading on there.
She said
yeah.
too, because I don't even think there was any kind of real evidence that anything actually happened. And we've seen that too.
Mm-hmm. We lived that.
Right.
We did.
Yeah. But with the other issue too, there was nothing, but he still had to plead
mm-hmm.
and say, yeah, I did this. And make up the story.
Mm-hmm.
And even make up the story of what he supposedly did.
Yeah. For things to go away and him kind of have some type of normalcy in his life.
Right. Which we see that there really isn't any there. I mean, it's not normal.
No.
How he deals with things is not normal.
Mm-mm. No.
And I just pray that eventually he'll get on track.
Yeah.
And another situation of sort of blaming God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God could have changed it all, but he didn't.
But then we have our cousin who is in jail. And then, I talked to this week, and he was asking about the podcast and said, if there's ever anything that I can say or do to help with the podcast, let me know, because I want to help people. And I know that what I went through was not normal. And what I did was not normal.
Right.
I know that now. I don't want to do that to anybody else. And I'm glad that you are reaching out to people and saying, being able to help people. And I've said this several times. Sorry. That him just owning up to what he did was a lot more than anybody else in our family did.
Right.
Serving his time.
Right.
And it was probably one of the best things that happened to him, because the road he was going down was horrible.
And what gets me, though, is the woman who owns this restaurant is being talked to like she's total trash.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's doing something that she always dreamed of doing, which is opening a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And because of who she chose to marry, is being ostracized and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't see the fairness of that. if he's really changed, then why drag her through the mud?
But you know what I just thought about? If he is changed and they're living their lives for God,
Then that's the enemy.
it's the enemy.
Trying to
And
destroy
then,
him.
if it is meant to be, you know what I mean?
He'll
And they're
overcome
really,
it.
it will prosper.
Right.
No weapon, remember? Like, and then if that's what's supposed to be, and he, you know, is living for God, and that's, you know, then.
And most of the battles that come at you are because you're living for
Mhm.
God. The enemy don't come at you if he's already got you.
Mhm.
If you're on his team.
That's exactly
That's
right.
that's the thing
Mhm.
about the devil.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about the demonic presences. They all work together. It's the Christians and stuff that want to fight each other and
Mhm.
tear people down instead of lifting them up.
Mm-hmm.
If we joined forces together to drive out the darkness, we could get a lot further than what we do right now.
And unfortunately, you see a lot of that happen in churches.
All the
The
time.
cliques and
Everything
everything like
is a
that.
competition.
And yes, it is. And I'm very thankful because our church is not like that, you know, because I feel like our preachers would be like, we are not going to have the separation in our church. You know, if there's a problem, we're going to figure out what the problem is and we're going to pray about it and it's going to go away. And we're going to make sure that we have God as the one creating this solution to this.
Right.
And we're not going to have that. And you have to have one solid body.
Right. And like where I go, I've been there 22 years, almost 23 years. And I've seen a lot of the drama. I've seen a lot of the cliques. I've seen a lot of craziness. But here within the last few years, we've really become one cohesive unit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like our ministry now is full of people who love people.
Yeah.
And that definitely didn't go over good with the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's come and he's attacked the head of the church,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that, you know, if you smite the shepherd, the sheep are going to just go all kinds of different directions and there's going to be total chaos. But we as a ministry have decided and have joined together and not let the enemy come in and destroy what God has created there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's been all of us like praying together, working together, holding things together when he's not there so that the enemy can't come in and destroy all those years
Mhm.
that have been put into that ministry to get us where we are now.
Right. That's
So,
exactly right.
Just
yes.
because you're in a good place does not mean that the enemy just says, oh yeah, they've got it together now, I'm just going to leave them alone.
Oh, no.
He
Mm-mm.
attacks where he can attack.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's physically,
Mhm.
it's a physical attack, and we're standing strong and we're making it to where everyone in our community sees that the church isn't going to fold, because you know the naysayers, even if they're Christians or not, are just waiting to see what's going to happen with our ministry.
Mm-hmm.
They're just waiting to
They have
see.
for years, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah.
Oh, it's going to fold. It's going to fold. But we're standing strong, and that's our plan. We will continue to stand strong and show that even though our shepherd of the flock is
Mhm.
down right now, physically, that he has poured enough into us to where we can stand.
Yeah, you're still
and back him
going,
up.
you know.
Yes, we can
Yeah, you're having to call in other preachers or speakers or whatever to come and take over for the time being.
but we didn't stop.
But no, that's what I was getting ready to say. But your church is still going.
And what gets us is the last sermon he was preaching, he put he built a boxing ring and was talking about we're in a battle and there's this boxing ring. So every time a new preacher comes, there's this boxing ring up on the platform. So we have to put like a music stand down off of the platform for people to preach from. And our pastor has said, or bishop has said, to go ahead and take it down. And we've decided, no, we're not taking it down, because that's a reminder that we're in a fight against the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to win this battle.
Right. That's exactly right.
So every time
Yeah.
we go in, we're reminded we're in a battle.
And that's good because you have these other outsiders coming in too. And I'm sure they've been like,
What in the world?
what in the world? Why do you have a boxing ring at your church? You're like, on your, on your stage. What is the deal with that? And then you say, we're in a battle, and this is our reminder.
Right.
And
so, it's going to stay there until he gets back to finish his sermon or his teaching about being in the battle.
Mm-hmm. That is exactly right. Yes.
And we are. It's not just him. It's like there's so many individual attacks within the ministry right now too. And Satan doesn't have a whole lot of time left.
Right.
And he's trying to attack anything that he can attack that's of God. Mm. And it's scary for me to think that people are out there that don't believe in God. That it's a scary time to not believe.
Right. Mm-hmm. It is. You're exactly right. Yes.
And they say, get right or get left. And I almost feel like that's how it is right now.
Yeah, it is.
Get right or you're going to get left.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's just so much that's going on right now. There really is.
And I have such a pull right now for more praying, more seeking God. And just my own mental battles right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, just yesterday, I just had, yesterday or Tuesday, one or the other, I don't remember which day it was. I think it was yesterday, but anyway, I just had to go in my bedroom and shut the door and turn on my praise and worship music and just focus on God because I was becoming so down. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not going to listen to these lies that the enemy keeps putting in my head about how useless I am right now, how my life is just turned upside down and this, that, and the other. It may feel turned upside down to me right now, but God has a plan for exactly why I'm no longer able to do what I was doing before.
Right.
And I just have to, in the waiting, be patient and hold on. Mm-hmm. And not listen to the enemy telling me how I'm useless right now.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I know that God has a plan. Mm-hmm. And I have to remind myself and I have to remind the enemy every day, God has a plan. And there's going to be doors open. And no matter what the enemy has taken from us, materialistically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, God is going to just pour back in and he's going to amaze us with what all he pours in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So I just have to be patient and not get so down. And if it takes staying in my room all day long with nothing but praise and worship music going, praying to God, talking to God, that's what I'll do because I refuse to let this little battle take me out when I have fought so many bigger battles. And
and it's just one more obstacle.
The lady teaching at church last night was talking about we don't live in our past, but we do need to take the time to look back where God has brought us from.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And what we've overcome in the past when the enemy comes at you and say you're just not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Just to remind ourselves, look what God has already done. Look at all the miracles he's done in the past. Look at what he's brought us from and where he's put us at now. Mm-hmm. So you don't live in the past, but it doesn't hurt to look back and be reminded of what all we have overcome. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that is exactly right.
And we have definitely overcome quite a bit.
And what God does give us, the blessings that he does pour on us, even when we feel like we're not getting anything. You know what I mean? When you pay attention, even in those times, you are being blessed.
Right. It's having that faith and that trust that there is a bigger plan.
So I feel like with this one, it's been, don't blame God. God allows things to happen in our lives, but there's also a reason for things. He has a plan for things. And he is not the one who causes things to come out of people's mouths sometimes. People are ignorant and say things when they shouldn't be. when we should just be quiet.
Right.
And if you are just going to say something that's going to be judgmental or hurtful to somebody, even if you don't agree with the what lifestyle that they have, what they're doing, don't say anything.
Take it to God.
Yeah, just stop.
He can make the changes that we can't make.
That is exactly right. Yes. Yes.
And I've had to catch myself a lot here lately too. Negativity towards people coming up. Just coming up, and I'm like, sometimes I don't even like me. I'm like, I'm just sour today, and I don't even like me. I don't even like what's coming out of my mouth.
Yes.
So I have to give myself a whooping and be like, straighten up, girl.
You know what? I get that, because last night, I know we're getting closer to wrapping up, but last night, there wasn't one thing that I can say that actually happened that made me feel like, I can say this caused me to be in a negative mood. Like, I didn't get into a fight with my husband, nothing like that. I was just blah, And so went in, got a few things done. I went to my bedroom and I closed the door. And my little one came in there. What are you doing? I am laying here in bed. Why are you doing that? Because I just need to be away from everybody. Because I'm going to be hateful. I'm not going to be nice. And not because, just the way I'm feeling right now, that's the way it's going to be. And there's no reason for it. So I'm not people-y right now. I just am by myself, because if not, I knew, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
How you're describing, though, is sometimes how I feel when something's going to happen.
I do too.
And then
I get depressed. And I just kind of felt that all day yesterday. Like
something's going to happen. Don't know what it is, when it's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. I hate that. I hate that feeling. And that's when I get like that. I get tense and grouchy. And
yeah. And like I said, it wasn't anything that there was not a reason for it. There wasn't anything that had happened there,
Sometimes I realize it and sometimes I don't. Sometimes when I start feeling like that, I go to my room and I start praying. I'm like, God, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why I feel like this, but you're in control. And whoever it is, help them.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on, help them. I don't know what it is, but I mean, that's I guess maybe that spirit of intercession. You start feeling weighed down, and sometimes it's not even our issue.
And it was like this morning we were having practice. We were having practice at church, and I'd completely forgotten about it. Right now, my life is crazy. I'm working a lot more than I normally do, and I'm just crazy right now, with remembering everything. And if I don't put it in my phone, I normally don't remember. Well, I didn't put the practice in my phone. So we're practicing at 10 o'clock. I get a text. Hey, is everything still good for 11 o'clock this morning? Because if so, I need to get there. I was like, oh crap, I forgot. And I was like, my body physically was like, no, I do not want to go. I mean, just don't. Then I have stomach issues. Those started, of course, because, nerves. And it was going to be so easy to say, you know what? I'm just not going to I don't have it in me today. And I was like, no, I'm going. And I'm glad I did. We were only there an hour and 10 minutes or something like that. But the song that we were practicing was good. It just was good. And I was glad that I went.
Yeah. That's how I am sometimes with church. I'm like, I'm just tired. I'm hurting. I don't really want to go. But I always get my biggest blessings when I push through.
I think that's a lot of it too, is I haven't been able to go as much as I was, physically. And then because of my schedule and stuff too, I haven't been able to go as much. And so that was I think that was just another thing today. It was like, well, it's okay. Saying like, you don't have to go this morning. You can reschedule that.
Right.
And even though I didn't, you don't hear him saying that, even having like the stomach issues and not remembering it. And I was like, nope, we're still going to go. And that's what I said. I'm having problems with my stomach. Y'all go ahead and meet. If I don't get there right at the time to start, I will be there shortly, you know?
Right.
So, and we did, and we had a good practice, and it was good.
Yeah, that's, the enemy knows that you needed that. So he was going to do whatever he could to stop you from going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we deal with things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every person deals with things differently.
Mm-hmm.
And the enemy knows our weaknesses, and he attacks those weaknesses. I've noticed here lately I'm getting really bad with the anxiety again of leaving the house.
Mm-hmm.
Today I just went to Dollar General and I felt like I was going to have a anxiety attack just standing in line.
But you know what? I was just talking about you with that yesterday. You had no idea about this. I was talking to one of my new coworkers about this. And she deals with anxiety. And she said, I was getting to the point where I didn't hardly want to leave my house. And I realized that I could not live my life that way, and I had to have a totally different mindset. And so I had to make the decision that that was what I was going to do in order to make myself be able to deal with it.
Right.
So she didn't say, tell your sister that, nothing
Right.
like that,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
you would have never even known I talked about it,
Right.
you know, and, but so, you know, maybe that was something you needed to hear today with bringing that up. I don't know, but
maybe so. Yeah, it was, I don't know. I didn't want to be around people, and it was a little crowded at the register. I don't know. I have this almost like, I feel like people are watching me, although I know nobody's paying any attention to me.
people
Nobody
are
cares.
watching, but they're watching everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they do,
Right.
because I watch people,
Right.
and I'm, you know, and I know that they're probably watching me, and I'm like,
But
whatever.
But it's that negative, like, almost feeling like everybody's staring at you.
Yeah.
You know good and well they're not standing there staring at you. They're probably thinking, well, I wonder how much all this is going to be.
Right.
I mean, everybody's at
Mhm.
the register. But I don't know. I just felt like panicky just out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, I got a buggy of stuff, and I didn't even have that much stuff. But I think it started off, I was a little aggravated because I couldn't get the buggies apart. It's little things, little triggers like that. I was ready to walk out from the get-go. I was
Mhm.
like, this is ridiculous. I can't even get the buggies apart. And then I'm like, and then the enemy's like, you know good and well that they're looking at you thinking, well, why don't she just pull them apart? Well, I physically can't pull them apart.
Mhm.
One, I didn't have the strength.
A
'Cause
lot
there
of
was like
times they're
3 or
so
4
stuck together.
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 stuck together. So I yanked all 3 or 4 of them out and got the other two, and they were a little stuck, but not as bad. So I
Right.
managed to get a buggy loose,
Mhm.
but I was done.
Yeah.
Just from something so simple as not being able to get buggies apart.
Mhm.
It was overwhelming to me. And then I'm trying to look at stuff, and there's just like this one aisle, and I'm getting into the freezer section, and I'm like opening the door to get something out, and then this woman's like right there on top of me, like she needs in that one little door that I'm in. I'm like, there's a whole store here, and it's not even crowded, but you're going to crowd me on one little door of the freezer section. And for a lot of people, that might not be a big deal, but for me, it about sent me over the edge.
And this is why I avoid Walmart.
This was a little store. This wasn't a big store. This
I
is
don't
Dollar
care.
General.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, all the people at Walmart do that.
I know. That's why
They're
I don't
in
go
your
to
bubble.
Walmart.
Yeah,
That's why I do
Yeah.
delivery. I
Yeah.
can't do Walmart.
Mhm.
So I think that Dollar General, Family Dollar, places like, they're safe. It wasn't safe today. The buggies weren't cooperating, and people were breathing down my neck.
You can accidentally hit them with the freezer door.
But I was like, please, just give me 2 seconds to reach in here and get what I need. And I will be on down this aisle and clear away from you, because I don't want to be near people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was like every little aisle I went down, there was people. And I was like, oh, I just need to get buns and sandwich sauce. Can I just get buns and sandwich sauce and get out of here? So by the time I got to the register, I was like stressed out because I just needed 2 things and nothing was going right. So I almost had my nervous breakdown there in Dollar General over stupid stuff. That to me right now, I'm like, that's the stupidest stuff to just feel panicky over. And then I go to get my prescriptions at the pharmacy and I'm in line for 35 minutes. And I'm like, if your prescriptions aren't ready, pull around. Because there was like one vehicle there for 20 minutes. I'm like, I took 4 minutes tops, long enough to tell them my name, for them to find the prescription and hand it to me. Right. I was like, this is what a drive-through is for. Drive through, get it and go. But yeah, it was like those little things like that make me to where I'm like, I don't want the stress. I don't want the panic attacks. I'm just going to stay home. And you get comfortable in your bubble. You do. And it's like somebody throws something at you. I ain't had time to prepare. And I wasn't so much like that before. I don't know. I was getting that way before I was not able to work anymore at that job. I was starting to get there, like on Sundays, knowing I had to go to work on Monday, I would start getting very anxious, just very anxious. And it's just gotten worse now. It's like I have to know at least a day or 2 in advance that I've got something to do on this day, because I can't hardly deal with spur of the moment stuff. And it is an anxiety thing. So I don't know.
And I guess that, like we've said before, I kind of, schedule-wise, I need to have everything scheduled out right now because, a lot of times because I'm busy. But at the same time, I'm like, you want to go somewhere at 5 o'clock this evening? Yeah, sure. I might be there at 5:15, but yeah, we'll be there, And I think because a lot of times if I have a long time to think about it, I won't do it. It's funny, like that.
Well, I see what you're saying, but like before, it was if we were invited to like a baby shower or a birthday party, like 3 weeks to a month in advance, I'd be all excited. Yeah. But come the day of, it was total panic, and I was myself in the bathroom all morning because my nerves were so bad. Yep. And there were times I can't go. I can't go. And then I felt bad afterwards. I was like, why do I let the enemy not just put me in these states to where I totally don't even socialize? Right. Because of the anxiety. And then I feel like, he's won. He's won that battle. He's won. He's got me to where he wants me. I've got too much anxiety to go do anything or go spend time with family. But it's almost like it's overwhelming. Sometimes. And the only place I don't feel that is church. I don't feel overwhelmed. And it might be because I sit on the front row and I don't see all the people behind me. My eyes are straight ahead. I don't see anything going on behind me. If I sit in the back, maybe I would be stressed and overwhelmed, but I don't know how many people are there. I don't know if we got new faces. I don't know nothing because I'm on the front row.
I think a lot of mine yesterday evening too was because I had so much going on the past few weeks, and I was just done peopling. Even though I love my husband and I love my kid, but you just ever just want to be silent and just be done. That's where I was. I was like, I just need to be, just be. And that's all I can do right now is just survive tonight. Right. So
that we could have the
and
birthday.
I woke up fresh, and things, good, and things were good, and, so.
You had to not be peoply yesterday so that we could have the birthday party today.
Yes.
The surprise birthday party, because none of us knew that it was Peter Parker's birthday and that he was turning 16 today and that you would have to buy a birthday cake. And
Birthday candles.
A 1 and a 6 to put on there for Peter Parker's 16th birthday, and then we would have to sing happy birthday
Yeah.
to your
spontaneously.
to
And
your-
poor Jess, it was like, what in the
to
world
your
has even going on?
who's not even 16.
Not even 6.
So yeah, we'll
Yeah.
finish up today on that funny note. But yeah,
Yes.
that's the life with her little one.
Yes.
We never know what we're going to get with him. Right now, he's on a Canada and Africa kick. Everything's about Canada and Africa.
And when you think that there's so much going on, that there's so much chaos in your life and everything, and you have no idea, physically, mentally, whatever, if you're going to make it through, God is like, you will. And here's your baby at 40 years old. Ta-da! Let's test your mental health a little bit more.
And at 5, we're going to be celebrating his 16th birthday. Well, not his, but his
Peter Parker one.
Yes,
Peter Parker persona.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and he takes it quite seriously.
Yes, he does.
It's very cute.
And he is not Spider-Man, just so people know.
No
I
one's
know.
supposed to know. He's
That's why I said
Spider-Man.
he is not Spider-Man. He's just Peter Parker.
and he has glasses on when he don't have glasses on
Yes.
because he's Peter Parker.
And he rides his motorbike.
Yes.
So,
All right.
well, there was our 30th episode, and we are just kind of flew by the seat of our pants on that one.
I think Jenny slept through that one.
Yeah, I am very tired.
I feel like I talked a whole lot and kept looking over, and she was like, keep talking, because I don't got nothing.
I was getting messages too. I don't normally text, but I was messaging with my husband because he's out of town. And so he was like, I'm safe, but I won't be able to talk anymore.
I no longer have service.
Yes. So.
That's what happens when you're way up in the mountains.
Yep. That's exactly right. Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Thanks
All
for
these
listening for
30 episodes.
30
And
episodes.
I told Jenny that I was looking at our analytics just on Spotify. I don't know about the other platforms, but we're at like 961 views. And for us to be nobodies from a little small town, I'm impressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you all for listening. I mean, numbers aren't really what we're looking for, but we know that people have been reached, and that's what we're looking for.
And whenever I'm going on my notifications on Facebook, a lot of times, because I have mine, and then I have the Surviving Darkness one also, and it comes up, you've had like 6 new views, and then, the next day you have so many new views, and that's good too. So,
Yeah. That was our whole goal, is to share our story with people
mm-hmm,
and let people know that they're not alone.
mm-hmm.
And I feel that we're doing that. It might not be huge numbers. To us, it's huge.
Right.
But I mean, that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And it's a positive reassurance
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, we're headed in the right direction. And I know that there's more people that need reached. And we'll know when it's time to.
And even if we don't make millions and millions of dollars, because that's not the plan anyway, that'd be great. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't foresee that.
no, I mean, that wasn't our goal in the first place anyway. Not,
Right. We just want to reach people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just reach people and let them know, you're not alone and you got this.
But we do have merchandise for sale that will help us with our equipment
Yes.
and things too.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Tumblers and t-shirts. You can get the big Surviving Darkness on the front or small logo on the front. And got our little quote thing on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind's blank as to what that quote is right this second, but yeah.
Victim by force, survivor by choice.
Yes. I was like, my mind was just blank. It's a little late, and Jenny's yawning has made me
I was going to
tired.
say, I would stand up and turn around, but I don't want to right now. So you could see the back of my shirt and read it. But yeah, Jesse and I remembered it.
Yes.
You're the one that came up with it.
I came up with it, and I'm telling you, my brain don't work 99% of the time.
Like you said, you've watched me yawn through this whole thing, so I've zapped all your energy, I guess.
Yes, it's gone. It's gone. And like we've said before, we know when we're
Yes.
done, because it's just like we can be going full force and then boom,
We're done.
we're just tuckered out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we'll let you all go, and we'll be back with episode 31
That's right.
next week.
Have a good week.
Y'all.